As far as mental traits that are important in a fighter, I would think those would be the toughness, the willingness to fight, to stand up for themselves. But the biggest thing is that they believe in themselves. And that's huge. It's confidence. They can be the most skilled, understanding, knowledgeable person out there, but at the moment, under fire, if they panic, if they don't believe, if they overthink it, it all falls apart. There's no doubt on a physical level, you know, the more athletic, the better. Of course, you got to be smart. So I want somebody that understands the strategy going on, but is also physically capable of it. The best fighter I think we've ever had would be the guy that's worked all of his life with the hands-on wrestling. You get a good wrestler that's very explosive, but twofold. It is smart, intelligent, understands strategy, believes in himself, but then is willing to help others. So if you get that personality of a kid that comes in that's willing to give to others, what's going to happen is, I noticed right away, as the other fighters in the gym start helping him out. And that's a big part of how we work at our gym is, and you'll see it play out all the time. One guy helps another guy out on the side, and that person helps that person, and so sees that person is helping somebody. And it's kind of a team, even though it's an individual sport, it's kind of a team that way. And it plays out. They make themselves better. You know, they don't need coaches at some point in time because they're always helping each other, and there's so much knowledge in the gym. Most MMA fighters I know are just great guys. You know, they're the kind of guys that are going to hold the door open for the ladies. They're the kind of guys that are going to take care of the weak. They're the kind of guys that are respectful and courteous and want to shake your hands. They don't need to prove themselves. They're not usually the guys that are going to posture and act tough. They are tough. You know, they don't need to act that way. Very smart. It's a chess game. The guys that fight at the highest level understand what's going on. It's not just what people see, a cage where they're just going to start throwing punches at each other, and no, that's not it at all. They know if the guy steps forward with his left foot, his weight's on that foot, so his right leg now, it could be a possible weapon. He can shoot a certain direction. He can change his body a certain way. Same thing on the ground. They start thinking so far ahead in the game of chess is pitiful. They know that if they do a certain move and throw on this way, the guy's gonna start countering, which means I'm just gonna open up my counter, his counter. Oh, but he knows that, so he's gonna counter that counter. I'm gonna swoop in that direction. It's incredible how deep these guys are in their thought process. And again, like I said, I think that'll play out later on in life for these guys. I think they'll start looking at business situations, relationships, and start looking down the road as to how things are going to unfold. And it's all the same. You know, life in MMA is kind of the same that way. And I love the MMA guys. The guys that are successful usually are very, very nice guys and very intelligent. I think the training has played a big part of that. I think there's no doubt some guys have more than others when they first come in. You know, I get guys all the time they're just tough as ever, but they're not the natural athlete. They try it. They're great guys, and they develop that. I get guys that are natural athletes, but they're not smart or don't have the work ethic, and they fall by the wayside. But the guys that stick around through time, I think they've learned a lot about helping others, about becoming good people, understanding that being the tough guy is not the most important. Being tough is very important, but not being a tough guy. There's two different things. They understand that they can hurt somebody, but they can also show somebody they can hurt somebody, and that's just as important. And I think developing through time, through application, through repetition with their friends, and in a weird way, beating up their friends on a daily basis, but then knowing that, and you can even be mad at them at the moment, knowing that night, if somebody else was to threaten that guy that you just beat up and you didn't like in the gym for a second, he's on your team, and you'd be the first person to stand up for him. And I see that unfold quite a bit. MMA is bigger than just another sport. It's mixed martial arts, the art side of it, and just the traditional values that are kind of inherent in martial arts over the years has found its way into martial arts. I think you're seeing that play out. I think people are always talking about those traditional values: honesty, courtesy, respect, discipline. If you respect the person you're training with, if you're disciplined to train every day, by respecting those others and discipline on your own work ethic, that plays out in life. And I think that's part of your character. I think they become better people the more they do it. They see the value in it. It gets ingrained in them, and they produce that kind of image in the future for themselves and for their kids. And I honestly believe society's a lot better off for it. They'll come in and they're real quiet, they're real meek, they're real scared. They've never thrown a punch before in their life, and nor have they ever kind of grappled or wrestled with somebody. And I know that out there, they're that same person. They're kind of weak to some people. And I've seen some transformations. You know, I've seen now they're out there and they're fighting back. Weird, but I think that plays out later on in life. They're wrestling, they feel more confident, their stride's different when they walk in, they're starting to talk to others, they hold themselves differently, their chin's up a little bit more, their shoulders are back a little bit more, they don't look weak and timid, they're just like, they're just happy. And I would guess, and someone had said that they're just happier every day of their lives. You know, they go home with a smile on their face, they feel better about themselves. Wow, what's that worth? You know, same thing as the kids. You know, if the kid's willing to stand up for themselves and he's happy when he gets home, he's happy at school, that's worth that little bit of money they have to pay the gym. That's huge. It becomes real when you're actually in there and you're actually wrestling, you're actually getting hit. And hopefully not hard enough that you would go to sleep. That wouldn't happen at our gym, but you do feel alive. You feel like, wow, this is what it's like. Oh, I was able to take that punch. I was able to slip that punch. You feel stronger. You feel that you're living the moment. You're not just watching it on TV like most people, and you're kind of living a dream that most people wish they would. And most people wish, they think of themselves, they watch a boxing match, they watch an MMA match, and they're the guys that are, yeah, what he should have done. But you know what? You're not here. I got guys that come in, they're overweight, they don't have any confidence, but you know what? Today, they're doing that stuff tonight. And they probably would toss you down. They're capable of it. They won't, because they got confidence in themselves and they have nothing to prove, but they're doing it. So they're kind of living it in their own way, and that's huge. They have a smile on their face, and they're better for it.